Shalom, shalom, family. Hebrew life again. Sha'ak Base Jerusalem. I'm back with another lesson. Q and P, Precious and Prime. Norm Blake coming in today, but hey, I'm here, man. Collecting my thoughts. Life still goes on, but I'm here for my people too. You know. So we gonna wait on some people to get in the room. The chat, the link to the chat is in the comments. So if you want to join the conversation, be my guest. It's all love. And we finna get into it today. We gonna have some fun. Let's go. Mark, ready, set, go. Mark, ready, set, go. Mark, ready, set, go. Cold like Chicago snow. Holla can't keep police. Making room in the building for my people like it's lease. When we play for keeps. Killing beats my specialty. Tony Hawk, kick, flip me, twist me, grinding specialty. If my flow is drugs, I'm like schedule 1, you schedule 3. Serve the most high so I could become a better me. Know the game ain't free. Gotta pay attention. She is hot up in the kitchen. She had them playing. Yeah, we back, man. So, looking at the news, you know what I'm saying, on the TV screens, you see it's a lot still going on today. I mean, what week passes by where there isn't anything going on? You got the war in Sudan happening, a civil war between a military group and the government. You know, it's weird every time America shows up to these countries, especially these brick-based companies that have interest in China and Russia. A war is always cracking off. A civil war. Same thing happened with Gaddafi. His people was used to kill him. Now America, it look like they're trying to infiltrate Sudan and cause an uprising between their country and the people. They have evacuated the U.S. embassy. I mean, they already know. If you thought you were safe running to a U.S. embassy in a foreign country, you should have learned the last couple of years that unless they send an evacuation soldiers to come and get you, you in trouble. Same thing happening with Afghanistan, Iraq. When they left, they ran up out of there. They ran up out of Sudan. It just recently happened. In other news, there's a new strain of COVID, rising in Africa, a deadly version, a deadly strain. You can expect it to be over in America very soon. You still have the war in Russia and Ukraine brewing. Russia just sent missile attacks to a city in Ukraine, letting them know, look, this war ain't over with. And it never was over with. Even though everything we see in the news ain't everything. I'm just reporting what's out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there's other information out there, but you had to scour the internet to find these secret interviews and secret discussions about what's really going on. People have to risk their life. They call them whistleblowers. They will have to risk their life to get these stories out. Um, let me see. Let me see. Excuse me, family. Yeah, so you got the Sudan, you got the missile dropping in Ukraine. That's still happening. They said American troops and UN troops is gaining up on the border to prepare for a war. So you have activity from both sides, but you have all kind of stuff happening. Even though America is trying to get their way back into ruling the power of the world and ruling the dollar of the world, it's over. It's over, family. Even if America gains some power back, it will be for a short time because y'all forget that these horns on this beast is gonna hate the whore, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing, yeah, these countries are a part of the world countries and the world leaders, but they don't agree with the UN. They don't agree with America. Matter of fact, they starting their own money system. They starting their own worldwide government using the tactics of America, but less intentional when it comes to pushing a democracy or a communist type of view onto the countries. China comes through and they build nuclear plants, roads, and etc. for these countries. Don't ask for much. See, China and Russia is being very smart. Saudi Arabia, Iran, there's still uh, threats going to Israel over there by Iran and now by Syria. It's crazy, man. We got to prepare ourselves, man. That's all we can do. The Most High is leading us out of this place. Destruction is going to come to this place. I'm not trying to push no flea doctrine or none of that. What I'm saying is that if we don't prepare ourselves for the tribulation that's coming upon this country, we try to fight and we try to uphold this country who had it coming from the very beginning. We gonna get into the scriptures today because the Most High said in Joel 2, He will lead us out of this place. Yes, another precept on leaving Egypt a second time, because my people have to have the confidence that the Lord, our God, the God of Israel, has the power. He definitely has the power to lead us out of this captivity if He pleases. He has the power to put us back on top. The last should be first and the first should be last. But we got to have faith, family. We got to live and walk as the chosen people of the Most High. Demons is running rampant through the land. And we got to guard our souls and guard our spirits and guard our culture. We can't be upset when the world try to define us as bad guys. If the world try to define us as extremists, that's all a part of the game. We need to be working on the love that we showing each other. Digging deep. A man should be trying to secure his family in these days. A woman should be trying to secure her man so he could secure her family, securing the kids. Making sure the kids is not influenced by the culture. You can't even go to the movies these days. I went to go take my wife and my child to go see the Mario Brothers. Just figure, hey, let's go out, let's do something, let's go to the movies. Man, these movies is so feminized and so directed towards the message they trying to send. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? This country is becoming overly feminized. And this is why the scriptures say a feminine man won't make it in the kingdom of heaven, because when you're effeminate, you laying down your right to be a man. You're laying down your right to be a leader. You're laying down your right to be a father. In this movie I watched, the whole movie, the princess was the leader in the movie. I played Mario Brothers coming up. I don't know how, the princess who was supposed to be rescued from Bowser is leading Mario and Luigi the whole movie to fight Bowser. I don't get it, fam. I get it. They want to weaken the nation. They want a feminized nation, but that's not going to put you in position to win no type of wars because your morale drops. Now other countries don't respect you because you got a whole bunch of weird stuff going on. You got a whole bunch of jellyback men who don't want to go to war, who don't want to get their hands dirty. And you got overly masculine women who ain't able to raise the kids, who ain't gonna be strong enough to go to war with the other nations men who was rugged and girded to fight to the death. They don't have no peers. They can't get pregnant. They don't get overly emotional. And they're not the weaker vessel as God has told us the women are. So why would you send your weaker vessel to war? This is what America is trying to do. You don't see the Russians gathering women to fight, confusing the morale of the soldier. Yeah, family, it's going down. So like I was saying, we got the problems in Sudan. We got the new virus coming out of Africa, a new strand of COVID. We still got the wars brewing with the Russians and the Ukrainians. So now what we're seeing America gearing up to attack anybody that's a part of this new world order or this BRICS world order. Whether it was Mexico the week before last, now it's Sudan this week. I mean, when do it stop? There should be wars and rumors of wars, but it's the beginning of our sorrows. Let's go to Joel 2, family. Let's go to Joel 2 and 2 and 25, family. Because I'm looking to see. Now we're gonna start at verse 19. It says, verse 18, it says, then will the Lord be jealous for his land and pity his people. Yeah, the Lord will answer and say unto his people, behold, I will send you corn and wine and oil, and you shall be satisfied therewith. And I will no more make you a reproach among the heathen, but I will remove far off from you the northern army, and I will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face towards the east sea, and his hinder part towards the uttermost sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he have done great things. These people I don't know what y'all think the Northern Army is. It could be Europe or it could be America. Either way it go, it's in the north. And Israel, Africa, and all that is in the south. So we know these enemies, whoever these people who are gonna be ruling the last day, they call them the land of the north, the Northern Army. We at Joel 2 and 20 right now. Now, what people don't understand about these scriptures is timeless. It could go for then in Joel time, and it could go for now in our time. The Lord changes not. So the same thing he did with Moses and Aaron, he's gonna do again with the two witnesses. See, the Most High changes not. The same way he used enemies to take down his own people, then with Solomon and the kingdom split, he did it again with the Greeks and the Romans. Let's continue to read. It says, fear not, O land, be glad and rejoice, for the Lord will do great things. Be not afraid, ye beasts of the field, for the pasture of the wilderness do spring, and the tree beareth her fruit, and the fig tree and the vine do yield their strength. Be glad then, ye children of Zion, and rejoice in the Lord your God, for he hath given you the former rain moderately, and he will cause to come down for you the rain and the former rain and the latter rain in the first month. And the floors shall be full of wheat, and the fats shall overflow with wine and oil. And I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten, the cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you. So let me go back, family, because that's a parable. And the Lord talks about this cankerworm to the caterpillar to the palmer worm and all of that continually, because these are our different captivities. It's like one person eat off us, then we get cast off and another person eat off us. It's like we've been leftovers and used up for all these years. And yet the Most High is going to clean us up, a throwaway, somebody who was used by the other nations, somebody who was used for everything that they supposedly got, stripped naked and bare after they was used up for every possible reason and way they could be used. And the Lord is taking his people, his bride, cleaning them up and restoring them back to power. It's like finding somebody on the streets. It's like how he found his daughter in Ezekiel. It's like the Lord is so powerful that he could choose to make whoever he want to make of a royal bloodline, of a royal status. He's taking these people, so-called black people, who was a reproach. If you read in verse 19, it says, the Lord will answer and say unto his people, behold, I will send you corn and wine and oil, and you shall be satisfied wherewith, and I will no more make you a reproach amongst the heathen. Right now, we are a reproach amongst the heathen. If you go to a store, man, they watching you quick. They watch you more than they watching anybody else. You turn on the news channels, they paint you in a bad image more than anybody else. The reproach against us in these different captivities is crazy. You go in China, people holding their nose behind black people. They're sprinkling water on them, trying to tell them they black or they dirty, and all these different, really stereotypes and racial, excuse my language, racial problems, and it's just ridiculous. At this point, people are fed up because all righteous black people have tried to do is try to be a part of the society. We've been chasing acceptance for years from the Gentiles, and we're not going to get it. And I'm not trying to get it. I'm happy to serve the Most High Yah. I'm happy to serve the Adonai Yah, and to make sure that I'm representing his culture properly, that he's given me. I don't have to be a part of the societies. We're set apart people. We were never called to be any butt kissers of any nations. We were called not to bow down to anybody but the Messiah. Bow down to no man. Let's read, family. We gonna continue in verse. We're gonna start at verse 26. As the scripture said in verse 25, though, it says, I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten, the cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you. And you shall eat in plenty and be satisfied, and praise the name of the Adonai your God, that have dealt wondrously with you, and my people shall never be ashamed. That day hasn't came yet. At this point, we still living in our shame. So this is a future prophecy. It says, and you shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed. And it shall come to pass afterwards that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days, where I pour out my spirit, and I will show wonders and the heaven and the earth, and blood and fire, and pillars of smoke. And the sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. And it shall come to pass that whoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For Mount Zion and Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord hath said, in the remnant of whom the Lord shall call. So this is an end time prophecy before the coming of the great and terrible day of the Lord, where he's coming to put the world back in position. The sun is not gonna shine, the moon is not gonna shine, the stars is not gonna shine. These are the signs of the coming. So they could fake the coming of Christ all they want. They could fake the coming of the angels and the Messiah all they want. It's not gonna work because it doesn't match the signs. They're not able to truly tamper the creations of the Most High. All they can do is imitate, like the devil did, and imitate a sun, imitate a moon, imitate the people of God, like they've done with Christianity and Buddhism and so many other religions. But there's only one. There's only one God, and there's only one nation that He has created to rule over, so they could be a people amongst Himself, and that's the Israelites. And unless you get behind the Israelites in these last days, you in hellfire. Because you believe the heathens. You believe that they had the power of the Most High too. Like when Moses, I was arguing with Miriam and Aaron. And and Korah and all these people leaving Egypt, these people thought they had the power too, but the Most High said He was only working through Moses around that time. But everybody seems to think they got the power. All these prophets out here, not many. There's plenty of people picking up the book talking, but there ain't many prophets out here who's telling you. It ain't many watchmen out here who blowing the horn on things. It says in verse 6, before their face, hold up, man. We're going to start at verse 3, Joel 3. Now, we already know about Joel 3. It says, for behold, in those days, in that time, when I bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. They have cast lots for my people, have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yeah, what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Let's jump forward. It says, because you have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried it into your temples, my goodly, pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, that you might remove them far from their borders. Behold, I will raise them out of the place where you have sold them, and I will return your recompense upon your own head, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they should sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off. For the Lord hath spoken it. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty man, and let all the men of war draw near and come up. See, the Lord was challenged. He's going to be challenging these nations, these heathen nations in the last days who held His people back. He said they sold us to the Grecians. It ain't no question who we dealing with in these countries. The Romans, the Grecians, the Edomites, who has been trying to live amongst us and live parallel to us this whole time. While we was slaves, they was trying to say they the Jews. They was trying to say they're presidents and governors. While we was nothing, they was trying to be something. And then when we became something, it was all off of them giving it to us. So we really never really became anything unless we was willing to fight and die for it. via Martin Luther King, via Malcolm X, or we was willing to go to jail like Rosa Parks, or we was willing to kill like Nat Turner. We didn't get no victories. If they gave us a presidency like Obama, it held no power. If they gave us a seat in these countries, it holds no true power, because the change that you're attempting to make is not going to happen, because it's not a part of the psyops in the government system that they have set up. You will get shot in the back of the head by a secret agent trying to carry out your own agenda. As a politician, a governor, a president, or any of these positions they give you in these pyramid schemes. Let's continue to read. It says, "Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all heathen round about." So the Most High is setting this big war up, the valley of Jehoshaphat in the Holy Land, where all nations is going to meet. All heathen nations who coming up against Jerusalem is going to meet up here. The Lord is going to challenge them. He's going to call them. Let's read. It says, multitudes and multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And the Lord shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. So shall ye know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mount. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore. Family, the Lord is coming back to give us this land of Israel. I could go on and on. We're gonna go back to the beginning of Joel, because it's gonna be stuff rifling people's houses. Let's read it in Joel 1, so we can get an understanding of this. The locust eating, and the cankerworm, and the caterpillar, and so forth. Let's go back to Joel 1. It says, "The word of the Lord came to Joel the son of Pethuel. Hear this, ye old men. Give an ear, all ye inhabitants of the land. Have this been in your days, or even in the days of your fathers? Tell your children of it. Let your children tell their children, and their children another generation." So what we're speaking of and speaking on in Joel 1 was supposed to be told to all generations. It says, tell your children, and their children tell their children, and their children another generation, that which the palmer worm have left have the locust eaten, and that which the locusts have left have the cankerworm eaten, and that which the cankerworm have left the caterpillar eaten. These is different captivities, family. From Egypt, the locusts, to the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Persians, the Greeks, the Romans, and now the Americans. It says, "Awaken, ye drunkards, and weep and howl, all you drinkers of wine, because of the new wine, for it is cut off from your mouth. For a nation is come up upon my land, strong and without number, whose teeth are the teeth of lion, and he have the teeth of a great lion. He have laid my vine waste and barked my fig tree, and he have made it clear and bare and cast it away, and the branches are made white. Lament like a virgin girded in sackcloth for a husband of her youth. The meat offering and drink offering is cut off from the house of the Lord, and the priests of the Lord minister mourn. And the field is wasted, and the land mourn, for the corn is wasted, and the new wine is dried up, and the oil is languished. Be ye ashamed, O ye husbandmen. How, O ye vine dressers, for the wheat and for the barley, because the harvest of the field is perished." See, this happened before with the Romans. This happened before with the Romans when we ran out of our land the first time. That land over there with the fake Jews in it doesn't yield the strength that it truly yields because the enemies is in the land and the true people. Even what we're going to read is that the plants and the animals know when they're safe, when they're in a good position. The animals looking at us like, what are we doing to the world? Global warming. You got all these different things happening because we're dealing with a people, the heathen, who are the rule, first because let's get them out the way. We rule first, they ruled after, but we should rule last. They're destroying the earth. This heathen Gentile nations are destroying the earth. The world food is not growing. Global warming is happening. Children are coming out missing. Children are dying. Children are killing themselves. Men can't provide for their family. Men are being overworked. Pennies on the dollar these brothers and sisters is making around the world, all for big corporations to walk off with the dollars. You talking about families making thousands, a couple $1,000s a year. When that'll only last you a month in America. Okay. So y'all give me a second, family. One more. Okay, family, I'm back. Let's get into it. I'm back. Um, I was in Joel 1. I went back to Joel 1. We started in Joel 2. It says in verse 14. We're gonna start at verse 14. It says, sanctify ye a fast, call a solemn assembly, gather the elders, and all the inhabitants of the land into the house of the Lord, and cry unto the Lord. Alas, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and as a destruction from the Almighty shall it come. Is it not the meat cut off before the eyes? Yeah, joy and gladness from the house of our God? Question mark. The seed is rotten under their clods, and the gardeners are laid desolate. The barns are broken down, and the corn is withered. How do the beasts groan? And the herds of the cattle are perplexed, because they have no pasture yet. The flocks of the sheep are made desolate. O Lord, to thee will I cry, for the fire have devoured the pastures of the wilderness, and the flames have burnt all the trees of the field. The beasts of the field cry also unto thee, for the rivers of the waters are dried up, and the fire have devoured the pastures of the wilderness. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mount, and let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is near at hand. The Lord is coming, fam. All of this destruction on his land, he's brought it onto his land. unto the people in his land at the time, so that they may know it's desolate. If everything was growing, then how would they know the Lord isn't happy? Let's continue. Um, in verse 20, we're gonna go to chapter 3 in Joel. Let's get the end game of all of this. About it says in verse 14, it says multitudes and multitudes. And I already read that. I read that. It says, and it shall come to pass that the mountains shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with water, and a fountain shall come forth of the house of the Lord, and shall water the valley of Shittim. Egypt shall be desolate. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. But Judah shall dwell forever, in Jerusalem from generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed. For the Elohim dwelleth in Zion. Excuse me. So that's an assurance. That's Yah assuring us that these people who sold us and put us in captivity, whatever y'all want to call them, the Edomites and Joel, they call them the Grecians. And we know that they turned into the Romans and then the Americans. But you won't find the word American in the Bible, but you can trace these people and who they truly are back. This is why I love the scriptures and I love history, because no nation can truly hide from their history. This is how we found out who we were as black people. Yeah, we are called black and African American over there, but when we do the research in history, our identity traces back to the Israelites. Every single part of our history versus the slave, when it comes to the slavery, the treatment, being a reproach and a byword, all these different things connect us to a certain people. It ain't no question. So you can go around and say who you want to say you are, but your history more than less is going to identify you. That's why they said in order to know where you're going, you got to know where you've been. You got to know your history to know your future. You don't have a future unless you understand your past. This is why you have confused people out here who try to make their own history, try to make their own path. Then they end up being Indians and Buddhists and tree huggers and all kind of things. Outer space gazers. Because when you don't have the Lord, you can pick. The devil got a lot of different things out there, a lot of false gods out there to serve. So that's assurance that the Lord will come and rescue us, will come and restore the earth, will call war unto these other nations who treated us like a stepchild. Its own. This is why we seeing the end of the Gentile rule coming, the end of the U.S. dollar. People who grew up in America, like myself, America been the strongest army for years. Nobody expected them to do. Nobody expected them to be in this position they're in now. Nobody expected China and Russia. This Cold War between U.S. and Russia been going on for years. Nobody expected America to be losing the grips of their power. But the more they unleash unholiness, the more the Lord takes down their empire. See, they forgot the Lord empowered Egypt. He empowered America. He empowered Babylon. He empowered all these places. These places didn't empower themselves. This is why he made Nebuchadnezzar eat grass like an ox, for thinking he empowered himself. This is why he killed the firstborn of the Pharaoh, for thinking he they're gonna have to face what they've said. They've said blasphemous things. They've said great things, and they're gonna have to bag them up. They claim they're God, but they don't cause it to rain. They don't cause the grass to grow. They don't cause the trees to grow or not to grow. They don't even cause the children to grow. All these things are done by the Most High. But at the end of the day, there's gonna be a lot of people who just don't wake up. We got a lot of foolish brothers and sisters out there. We got a lot of foolish heathen out there who gonna continue to believe the lie that's been set forth. This Christianity lie, this Islam lie, Buddhism, Hinduism, and several other false beliefs out there. You're not getting in unless you believe in the Messiah, believe in the prophets. How can you enter Abraham's bosom and you don't know nothing about Abraham and know nothing about his people who came after him, leading up to Christ? Like the scripture say, these people love me with their mouth, but their heart is far away from me. The Lord is starting to challenge people on what they really love and what they really believe. So if y'all got any questions, anything y'all want to discuss, man, the platform is open. We here. Be my guest. Tune in. Other than that, until I see y'all again, man, I might go live again tomorrow. Do some more research. Becoming a better watchman for Israel is what I strive to do this year. So y'all got any questions? Y'all want to talk about anything? The link is in the chat. Y'all take that. It's a beautiful thing to know that the Lord hasn't forsaken us and that he's coming to blow the trumpet, as y'all just heard. Beautiful thing. We've been in captivity. We've been second-class citizens, third and fourth-class citizens in this country. They have put the immigrants before us. So we've been third-class citizens. Slavery, the Willie Lynch letter. Because all slavery did was prepare us to self-destruct ourselves. They want to blame us for our behavior, but when they released us uneducated and with their mindset in our heads and in our bodies and in our souls. When they released us, we yearn to find a living, but we couldn't find a living without their approval. They approve who the governors and the lawyers is. They have the banks who approve loans. And the neighbors approve if they want you to stay in the neighborhood or not. We've had no favor in this country. Like I said earlier in the video, the favor they have gave us has been controlled favor. Oh, we're going to give you Obama. We're going to give you all these sellout politicians, and just because they're your color, whether they're Latino, black, or whatever, people have been subject to believe in them and believe what they say. But politics is all a show. The news is all a show. The Bible tells us the root of all evil is the love of money. So we don't have to ask what's going on. Why are they fighting? What are they arguing about? It's money. It's control and it's power. And America has had the nations drunk off their wine for years, centuries. Now it's coming to an end. I'm calling it out before you see it. This new generation ain't gonna be able to hold or be able to bear what their forefathers have left them. But they have no choice, just like we have no choice but to bear what our forefathers have bestowed upon us. We have to correct our wrongs. We have to right our wrongs. Every generation is getting worse and worse. But in Israel, every generation should turn back closer and closer to the Most High. We all like flowers withering away, slowly but surely. Beautiful in our time, and not so beautiful at the end of our times. But you can still find beauty in the beginning or the end. So check the comments. Not seeing nothing. Got any questions? Like I said, this questions are prompt. Got any questions? Problems? You're welcome to chime in. We could talk about it. You want to support the channel? You want to donate? My PayPal, my Cash App is right there. Support the channel. We trying to get big. We trying to do big things this year. I've been having children year after year. The Lord been blessing me, and I ain't been able to invest in my channel like I want to. But with the subscribers' help, I can. We could get this thing cracking, and we can make this bigger and bigger, and put pressure on these fake news outlets that only give you the news to keep you worried and keep you in the dark. On this channel, we revealing all things. We are the light over here. And the light and the truth and the way is the Messiah Yahushua. And we follow him. We don't follow man. So I'll be back, family. Y'all willing. It's been love. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the bell for any notifications or any future videos. And it's been good, man. It's been love with y'all, man. Shalom.